My name is Mary, and today we're making Arroz Con Pollo, which is a chicken and rice dish. I'm making it Mexican Spanish style. I will be starting with marinating the chicken meat. I'm using olive oil, white wine, Sazon Goya. You get this in Hispanic or international aisle at the regular grocery store. It comes with 8 packets, and I'm using 2 for this dish. The first packet I'm going to use for marinating, and the second packet will go in our tomato broth. So put your aprons on and let's get cooking. A list of ingredients and instructions are noted in the comment box below. Please make sure you refer to that ingredients list for correct measurements. Now let's get started onto our recipe. We're first going to marinate our chicken, and you'll start with 8 pieces of chicken, any type, a half a cup of white wine or beer, 1/4 cup of olive oil, and 1 packet of Sazon Goya. And make sure you get that same package that I got, because there are different brands of that Sazon Goya, and you need the one with the saffron in it. So first I'm starting with washing the chicken in cold water. You're going to pat it dry and add it to this bowl, and then you'll add your white wine. Next you'll add your olive oil, and then your Sazon Goya packet. And you'll see how bright this is, and that's because it does have that little bit of saffron in it. And that's what gives it that Spaniard flavor, is the wine and saffron. So next you'll refrigerate it for at least 2 to 3 hours. And then I'm adding the 3 cloves of garlic. You don't actually need to chop it, the blender will do it. Next I am dicing these red peppers. I'm cutting them to long strips and then chopping them into 1-inch pieces. And I kind of just line them up and cut straight down, and then chop again over it to dice them small. Now, if you want to use green pepper, you can. The red is what the Spaniards use, so this is why I chose that. And also in Mexican Arroz Con Pollo, they use carrots and peas, so you can try that if you prefer to add that instead of peppers. The sky's the limit. This is my recipe, but you can change it however you'd like. Now I'm adding 1/4 of an onion, and the rest I'm dicing. The 1/4 of the onions for the tomato sauce, and then we'll need a little bit of the diced onion for the rice. So if you see that white bowl up on the platter, I just pre-cut like 1 or 2 onions, and depending on the size, and just save it so when I'm ready to make a dish, it's ready. Now I'm chopping up just about 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro, and the cilantro we're going to be adding later. And I'm doing 3 Roma tomatoes quartered. And then I'm cutting off the stems on these serrano chilies. But if you've seen my refried bean recipe, you'll know these are not hot. It gives it a peppery flavor, but no heat at all, because they're not cut open. So make sure you don't dice those. So now we're going to prepare the tomato sauce. You'll need the 3 Roma tomatoes quartered, 1/4 cup of onion, 3 garlic cloves, and your Sazon packet. So first we're going to add the garlic, onion, and tomatoes. And then we're going to blend this really well. Now this is fresh tomato sauce. And then I'm adding 1.5 cups of water because my tomatoes were kind of small. But if you get the really large red tomatoes, you probably don't need to add as much water. You're trying to look for a minimum of 3 cups of the broth. Basically, that's all you need. Every cup of water, you need 1.5. I'm sorry. Every cup of rice, you need 1.5 cups of water. Now I'm adding my Sazon Goya packet, and I'm gonna mix that into our tomato sauce. And like I said, we'll need 3 cups of this because we're gonna put in 2 cups of rice. Now we're gonna prepare our Arroz Con Pollo. We're gonna start by adding olive oil and frying the chicken about 8 minutes on each side until it's golden brown. And it did pull a lot of the wine out of it, so I kind of dumped a little bit of the wine and then fried it again, because you want this to get crispy and golden brown. You don't want it to boil. So make sure there's not too much liquid. Now I'm removing the chicken and setting it aside. And you'll leave your heat on medium heat. I'm adding 1/4 cup of the white wine to deglaze it, and we'll scrape off all of those yummy bits. Now I'm adding 2 cups of white rice, and we are not going to be browning this. We're just sauteing this for a couple minutes. I added a little bit of diced onion in here. I think I did about 1/4 cup. You can add as much onion as you like. And I'm just mixing it in, blending it with the wine, and scraping those bottom bits off. Now I'm grabbing the tomato sauce. And like I said, we're going to add in 3 cups of the mix. Look at that beautiful flavor. It's gonna taste so delish. Next, I'm adding the diced peppers and the serrano chilies and mixing this in. Once this is mixed, we're going to add our seasoning. I added tomato bouillon, chicken bouillon, garlic powder, ground cumin, onion powder, and I added the Spanish green olives. Again, these olives are optional. A lot of people love these and some don't, so you don't have to add these. And I did a splash of wine, which was about 1/8 cup, and then a couple bay leaves. And again, this is more on the Spaniard style than the Mexican style. It's not Mexican at all, actually. So now I'm adding the chicken back in. And just kind of nestling it down below the rice. And then this is where I put those 4 pieces of garnish on the top, and then sprinkle the fresh cilantro. Now I'm going to turn this down on low and let it cook for 40 minutes, just simmering, and do not lift the lid until that 40 minutes is over. Then you're going to remove the lid and fluff the chicken. So just do it gently. We're just moving the rice from the bottom to the top. And you don't need to move it around a lot. You don't want it to get mushy. Just kind of letting it breathe a little bit. Then we're going to cover it again and let it cook another 15 minutes. You're going to turn your heat off all the way and just let it sit. Don't lift the lid. Just let it cook another 15 minutes with the lid on. And your arroz con pollo is finished. Ta-da! This is so beautiful and yummy. It's such a unique flavor using the wine and the olives. But like I said, a lot of people like their rice plain. You don't have to use the olives or the peppers at all. You can just do the rice and the chicken. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button and share with your family and friends. And stay tuned for the next recipe. Thanks again. Take care.